Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and yesterday Blizzard decided to release the brand new space hero Juno early in a limited time playtest. And once the Overwatch community stopped gawking at the brand new hero and all of her assets, they actually tried her out in the training range, went into some games, or should I say no limits, because nobody's able to get her in quick play. No! I had her! And did what the Overwatch community does best: decide if a hero is overpowered or underpowered. And now we all must collectively decide, is she overpowered or underpowered? And the community can't decide at all. In fact, I guarantee you, if you commented down below, you don't even gotta give a reason, but if you just commented either overpowered or underpowered, half of the comments would be on the overpowered side, and half of the comments would be on the underpowered side. And oh my god, what is that? Is that the definition of balanced? No, what this must mean is that we gotta nerf Genji! Juno, in my personal opinion, I think is one of the few heroes in Overwatch 2 history that upon launch is probably the closest to balance that we've ever seen, and dare I even say, perfect. But I already know the people that are on the underpowered side are already telling me in the comments, bro, you whack, she doesn't do enough damage. She doesn't do enough headshots. Like, how am I supposed to get kills with Juno with her current hero kit? And then I'll just point at the support logo and be like, what's this little thing right here? What do you think this stands for? I think the people that are saying that she is underpowered are a lot of DPS players that are treating her like a DPS. But she's not a DPS. She's a support. But hey, she has DPS elements, and she's not always subject to just be a heal bot like half of the support roster. So I can understand the sentiment of like she doesn't do enough damage, but I really think it's a lot of players not having a true understanding of how DPS works, at least in the case of Juno, because if you're shooting this far away at an enemy, yeah, you're not gonna do a lot of damage because of fall off. But even if a target is only like 15 meters away, the enemy is doing this pro gamer move that is called moving, and more than likely, you're gonna be missing some of your shots. So while in the training range, you might get a full 84 burst clip, in reality, this is probably what your experience is like. Missing some of your shots, missing all of your shots, more likely missing all of your shots, and not getting the full damage. And while I can easily promote my video where I encourage you to learn about Juno's hero kit and learn about fall off damage, I'm not gonna do that. Or am I? No, but we're gonna talk about all elements about her hero kit, because while the DPS side of her I think is fine, it's really the healing aspect that I also see an argument towards, saying that, oh, she doesn't heal enough. I feel like she just doesn't do her job as a support compared to these other heal bot heroes. And while I won't necessarily chalk it up to a skill issue that so many people will just conveniently chalk it up to, I will say there is a bit more room for error when it comes to playing with Juno. Not as much as, say, someone like who you have to be deadly accurate with to be able to do your job with, but not as low as someone like Mora, who you don't even have to be on their hitbox to be able to heal them. I will say, you have to have a competent aim to be able to do like your main job with Juno. So if your aim is trash, obviously you're not going to be doing a lot of heals because you're not hitting your target. That's like complaining saying Ana doesn't do enough heals when your aim is all over the place. But then you could say, bro, you whack, I have decent aim, and I'm still not doing enough healing. Or are you healing from 5 million miles away? Because something that you might not know, if you didn't watch my hero guide, is that she has fall off healing. This is very rare with support heroes. You don't often see this, but if you're healing from 5 million miles away, you're not gonna get the full amount of heals compared to if you were healing from right next to the enemy. Once again, it's just kind of like a lack of understanding of how Juno works and her hero kit, but also understanding the role that she fills in a composition or a meta. While Juno's not necessarily gonna be this heal bot getting 25k heals a game like how Lifeweaver can, or be this deadly DPS support hybrid hero like how Zenyatta can be if you have deadly accuracy, she could be a mixture of both, which is what I think a lot of players are going to come to find, is that they have an even amount of heals and an even amount of DPS, but it's really the role that she fills, because I kind of see her as this initiator. She's going to command the ship. Wherever Juno says, you guys are going to go, and it's all because of what her hero kit provides the team. I mean, you have a ring that you can deploy and you can push past chokes. You have an ultimate that will not only support you you, but give you a healing boost and damage boost. I don't see enough people talking about the last two buffs, only the healing that you get from it, which is still fantastic, but this can also help break past chokes. And you also have torpedoes that, if you want to stay in the back for some reason, can help bridge the gap of the lack of damage and lack of healing that you'll suffer from fall off. There's just a lot of initiating elements about Juno and not a lot of debuff elements about Juno that I think we're so used to seeing with heroes. Like with Ana and her anti-grenade, we're so used to just seeing instant, I did that, I stopped that hero from getting healing, I got that hero killed. Whereas with Juno, you throw something down and nothing necessarily happens right away, but rather just the supportive element happens right away that we're kind of not used to. And it's kind of surprising because a lot of people are saying that she's just the copy and paste of many other heroes, which, I mean, that's always kind of been the case. With Mauga, he's just like a Bastion with two guns on his arm, and when Orisa first came out, it was just a copy of Zarya and Reinhardt. It's always kind of been like this, but I gotta say, in the case of Juno, I don't know, man, like, I don't agree with y'all. I feel like she's very unique in her own way. Yeah, she copied Zenyatta's kick. Who cares? Like, it's just an animation. It's still a melee at the end of the day. Yeah, she might share similar elements to Ana's gun, where the bullets do damage and healing, but Ana came out in 2016, and it's what, 2024? Like, who really cares? And plus, it's a burst fire weapon rather than a sniper weapon. I'll give you the glide is probably the exact same copy as Echo, but Echo's glide is just so much better, which segues perfectly into what I really think is the most underpowered aspect about Juno, which is more or less a nitpick and kind of a skill issue, if anything, which is the fact that you can only horizontally glide. You can't go up, you can't go down, and I hate that. Like, I just want to slightly go up a little bit, because oftentimes I hit my head on a ledge when if I could just go 2 degrees upward, just a little bit, that would make it so much better and so much more satisfying. But while it's a personal nitpick, I think a lot of people will have a universal nitpick, which is the fact that she has no self-sustainability, especially if she's getting pressured from like a diving Winston or a diving Genji or flanking Tracer or whatever. She has no self-healing elements besides her shield and her health, which is actually very helpful, but she doesn't have an anti, she doesn't have a bash or anything to protect her. She only has a flight, which we've come to find out is actually kind of bad. And I think this is just supposed to be one of her weaknesses. Like, again, Overwatch heroes aren't supposed to be powerful in every situation. That's like saying Reaper's underpowered because he can't counter a Pharah. No, that's just an element about his hero kit that you gotta learn. And same thing with Juno. If you're getting delved on and you're by yourself, yeah, you're gonna die because that's a weakness that you have. But given the fact that there's only really one nitpick that I have with Juno, what would I rate her out of 10? And this might be an aggressive rating, but I'm gonna give her like a 9.5 out of 10. I really think she's that good of a hero, one of the best ones that they've ever released ever since like Kiriko back at the beginning of Overwatch 2. I feel like the aim that is required of player is not as intensive as Ana, it is not as brainless as Moira, but she still can't reward a lot of players that have great aim, whether it comes to healing and just doing your base job, or if you want to get a little bit more aggressive and do damage. Plus, her hero kit lends herself to learning how to manage it properly. You gotta know the right time to throw your ring to actually support your team. You gotta know when to use your torpedoes. If you use at the beginning, it's not gonna be that beneficial, and if you use it in front of your team, you're not gonna get the healing elements. I'd rather use it in the back line and use it to finish off an enemy that has like 50 HP, because it will do that. It will go and seek the enemy and kill them. And I think within time, especially when season 12 comes around, people will learn the role that Juno fits in. This initiator that pushes with the team, that kind of stays not in the far back line, but just right behind the DPS and command the team of where to go. So if I have any advice for Blizzard as to how to balance out Juno, I would say just give 2 degrees of flight increase whenever you're gliding with her, and that's it. Just leave her alone. Too many people, and even the Overwatch team is at fault for this, they're too anxious to try to nerf and buff a hero when sometimes you just gotta give it a couple of months and maybe players will learn to adapt with the element that people are frustrated with. So I think if they were to release Juno as is upon season 12, she'll be fine. Like, she won't be an issue. But that's my initial thought in the first 24 hours. Maybe it'll change after the 48 or 72 hours, and even when season 12 releases. But until then, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.